Chaos continues to unfold in Nigeria, where Christian persecution is raging. Brad, there's a lot to talk with you about today. You are heading back to Nigeria. You spend a fair amount of the year there on the ground, helping stop Christian persecution, helping educate different groups of people there. There's a lot here to unpack because you're heading back to a situation that in some ways feels more intense than it's been, more diabolical than it's been. It seems to be getting worse. What does it feel like to know? I mean, you have a choice. You're leaving America, the confines of America, the comfort of America, to go back to a place that is dangerous. What does that feel like for you?
I'm used to it at this point. Just recently, we escalated our security advisory level to a level 4 internally within our organization. That's a red level 4, so that's the highest security risk level that we operate at. And then earlier today, we were alerted by the U.S. Embassy and the State Department that there were credible threats against U.S. affiliated schools and facilities. And that's exactly what we are. So it makes me a little concerned, but I trust the Lord that we're doing what He called us to do, and there's no safer place than that.
It's Across Nigeria is your organization. We've had you on many times before to talk about the work that you are doing. And when I look at this and I see what you just said, obviously there's a lot of bravery in this, but you also know for a fact right now, and I want you to share whatever you're comfortable sharing and whatever you can, that there's essentially a bounty specifically on your head. There are groups coming after you with the effort to stop and potentially kill you. Can you explain how you found this out and what is happening there?
Yeah, those threats are basically contracts that Boko Haram has established or taken out, however you want to view that. Three credible that we know of. And we find out about that. We're in contact with Boko Haram fairly regularly. We have insiders inside of Boko Haram that feed us information. Boko Haram throughout the year will send us 4 or 5 videos of them executing Christians. We get those videos all the time.
Why are they sending you those? To intimidate you? They're trying
They're trying to intimidate us. In fact, when I was working in Maiduguri last year, they sent me a video of Christians being beheaded. That was a new video that had been released. And what they were just trying to do was to scare us out of the area. So we find out about those contracts through those avenues. We take necessary precautions. We never take foolish risks, but we also have to do what God has called us to do. This time going back, to be honest with you, it makes me quite a bit more nervous because we're getting many reports of unrest in northern Nigeria since the United States action in Iran. There's a lot of protesting the death of the Ayatollah. A lot of the stuff that Boko Haram and ISWA in northern Nigeria are doing was or is funded by organizations and the Iranian government. So there's close ties there.
So there's protests in Nigeria in support of the Iranian regime that is still sort of in power, right now, and fighting back. So because of the radical Islamic ties, you're going back to a situation that's even more fiery. And have you had these sorts of, you said there's 3 credible threats. Have you had this number of threats on your head before in the past?
Not to this level. We've had loose, discussions about different things that we've heard, but nothing definitive. These are 3 definitive contracts that I know of that have been taken out on me. Some of them are to kidnap me. Some of them are to kill me. It just depends. Hopefully I run into the guys who just want to kidnap me, but
and you seem completely at ease. And again, it's because you know that you're called to do this. It is dangerous work. How long will you be back in Nigeria?
I will be in Nigeria for about 3.5 or 4 months this time. It's been a while since I've been back. I had to forego my fall trip because of all the media firestorm that happened. So I wanted to capitalize on that to raise awareness of the genocide that's going on. So heading back now, and I'll be coming back in about 4 months.
Wow. Okay, so you're going there for months, and you obviously are aware of these threats. You are going to, I would assume, take as much action as you can to protect yourself. I don't want to hammer this on, but what keeps you going? Because it is, you're out there, you're doing, and you could talk a little bit about the work you're doing, because I know that's probably what's keeping you going.
Sure.
But knowing, I mean, most people would say this is crazy. I'm not going back. I don't want to die. I don't want to be kidnapped. I'm not doing it.
I always tell Christians this. I say, number one, seek after what God called you to do. Find out what God is calling you to do. Then, when you find out what He's calling you to do, spend the rest of your life fulfilling your calling. But the third thing that I'll add to that is you got to get to the place where you realize that what He called you to do is bigger than you are. And when you come to that realization, when that's been revealed to you, every everything else goes to the wayside. Everything else is small compared to that calling, that thing that He called you to do. So I operate in that. I'm fully aware that what He called me to do and the difference that we're making and the things that we're doing are far bigger than I am, and that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And you also had shared, and I'd love for you to read this. In addition to the threats against you, there was also an alert that was sent. Can you tell us where that came from and read that for us?
Yeah, so I just got an alert that it was last night that informed us it was from the United States Embassy in Abuja, and then the State Department also confirmed that. But credible threats against U.S. affiliated facilities and schools, specifically those two things, facilities and schools. Well, we operate a U.S. affiliated, our refugee facility in Nigeria, plus our subsidiary facilities. And one of the main things we do is schools. We fund and operate schools in northern Nigeria. Those are U.S. affiliated schools. So we're going to go back, and I'll get dropped right into the middle of a war zone, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, right into the middle of a war zone, and then tensions over Iran fueling protests there. And so I would imagine you're talking to people on the ground who are watching some of that happen.
Yeah, and really, it's been rather quiet because Ramadan is still going. And during Ramadan, most terroristic activities ceased, or it's pretty quiet during Ramadan because of the fasting. It's kind of like the Islamic Sabbath. They stay at home, they don't travel, they fast. Ramadan ends on the 19th. I'll be getting there on the 22nd, and if it follows any pattern from previous years after Ramadan, it's like opening the floodgates. They've got all this pent up energy, or however you want to describe it, and they just kind of let loose after Ramadan. So that's one thing that's keeping things quiet right now. But that ends on the 19th, and who knows what'll happen after that.
How can people be praying for you right now as you're preparing to go back to Nigeria?
I think number one, just pray for wisdom for us. Like I said before, we don't take foolish risks. We don't do stupid things, but we do take calculated risks. And I always say that faith and risk go hand in hand. You can't have faith and not have risks, and you can't have risks and not have faith. Part of faith is taking risks. So I think that God would give us discernment and wisdom. But I always tell people, don't just pray for me, pray for our teams who are operating there. Even right now, while we're doing this interview, our teams are taking necessary precautions because of the alert that we sent out earlier. But I'll even go further and say, please don't ever forget to pray for the persecutors. We've seen members of Boko Haram come to faith in Christ. So we know that the gospel of Jesus Christ can reach and affect and change the lives of even the terrorists over there. So I always encourage people, pray that God would open their hearts to the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Amazing. Well, and where can people go if they want to support the work of Across Nigeria?
The best place to go is our website, acrossnigeria.org. They can sign up for our newsletters. They can sign up for our email updates that we send out. And then there's opportunities to support our ministry there. But it's acrossnigeria.org. That's the best place to go.
Brad, we'll be praying for you as you embark on these months in Nigeria. And we thank you for, just being brave and being willing to do what a lot of other people would not do.
Hey, thanks, Billy. It's always good to be on with you.